So we are going to see, I think it's the full 30 karts on track for this one, so a very, very busy grid. Reese Hurd, he's going to start on pole from Brad Philpott, Maxim Smith, Noah McNicholson, Harry Clark. There we can see it on the left-hand side of your screen. Jacob Felton, Luke Richards, Ben Rosier, Emma Stoner, Alexander. I want to pronounce this right. Colantuano. If I'm saying that wrong and anybody's watching on YouTube and you know how to pronounce that, you can please let me know. Please let me know, because I don't want to pronounce anybody's name wrong if I can help it. So here we go. We're going to go across the start and finish line for the start of the Senior Rotax heat number 1. And there's already a couple off track as they go through. And again, we just want to get everybody through safely. Bit of contact, as you can imagine. Someone's going to end up on the grass there, but without any disaster. That's a cracking start to the race. Everybody's through. Whoa, spinner at the back. Commentator's curse. A bit of contact between 2 or 3 at the back of the pack there. But they will get their wheels in line as they came through. Haynes Luke, there was just a bit of contact at the back, but it was pretty clean out the front, and it looks like the 59 plate there of Reese Hurd has held on to that early position that he was gifted. He's done very well to hold on to that. As everybody bounces through, getting a bit of air time. But it'll take a couple of laps just to settle down. Whether there will be anybody pulling away in this race or not, we will wait and see. You can see the inside 2 wheels just coming up off the track there. They put it in hard. So, as we cross the start and finish line for the first time, let's see what we've got. We have got Reese Hurd from Luke Richards, Jacob Felton, Rufus Flan, Noah McNicholson, Bobby Rosier. They are the leaders at this stage, and it's pretty close. Only half a second or so between each of them as they bounce through. Haynes Luke going down into Winger's Dip. The big right-hander before they head up the hill. Try and get some power down before they meet the bus stop, which will just put the brakes on a tiny bit. Got to go careful through there. Late on the brakes, you can just gain that bit of an advantage. You can see the front 3 just starting to make a bit of a gap now from that chasing back. Reese Hurd, and a look there from Luke Richards up the inside of Reese Hurd. He gets himself up into the lead. He's done very well there. Is there an answer back straight away? Indeed there is, but there's another reply coming. Fantastic racing from Reese Hurd and Luke Richards out front as they come round Tollies into that home finisher at the front 3, all battling away, and 59 of Reese Hurd has gone from first to third there in that little battle with Luke Richards and Jacob Felton. That is your top 3, with then a small gap to Rufus Flan and William Ray. They tick up the 4th and 5th. And again, we've just got a spinner going through. That seems to be Haynes Loop is where it's catching people out at the moment. And a big loser there. I'm just going to try and keep an eye over as they come around the side of the commentary box to see if I can see who that was. Yeah, it was the 18 kart there of Noah McNicholson. Was a big loser, unfortunately, as they came through Haynes Loop. And has lost a lot of positions and dropped at the order, and when they cross the start-finish line we'll see what damage that has done to Noah McNicholson. That's a shame. So they're coming around the leaders, coming around Climate down into Tollies. There's just a bit of breathing space between those 3 now. They're not on top of each other as they were, but it is the 25 of Luke Richards from Jacob Felton and Reese Hurd. That's your front 3. A huge gap to William Ray, to be honest. Those front 5 now have just got a bit of a gap to 6th place Bobby Rosier, 3.5 seconds just over. That is the gap to 6th place. So the front 5 starting to just pull away a little bit, with Luke Richards taking that lead as he comes around. He goes through Winger's Dip up towards the bus stop. And again, if you're good on the brakes through the bus stop, it does give you the chance to just reel in the driver in front a little bit, as everybody gets a tiny bit of airtime as they take to the curb. Bit of a gap now from the front 5 down to 6 as there was developing at the start of the race. And to be fair, the front 5, they're all now starting to just string out a tiny bit. There's a couple of big battles going on further down the order, which I'll bring you in a second. But it is Luke Richards as we're 3.5 minutes remaining on the race from the 61 of Jacob Felton and the 59 of Reese Hurd, William Ray and Rufus Flan. They make up that top 5. But as we go down the order, there's some pretty much from 9th, 10th all the way through. There is very little to offer between any of those drivers, pretty much all the way down. Less than half a second between the vast majority of them. 0.3, 0.4 between them. So there will be some positional changes for those guys a bit further down the order, but the front runners, they are who we are concentrating on. And there's been no huge positional losses or gains in this race, to be honest with you. Looking at it, Chris Abraham, where he's 1 down. Luke Richards is out the front from Jacob Felton, Reese Hurd. William Ray, Rufus Flan, they still make up that top 5. You can see the 31 car of 10th position, Freddie. Warlock. Sorry, Freddie, I was looking for your surname on screen. I didn't know whether it extended after that. So yeah, that was the 31 of Freddie Warlock, just grabbing on screen just for a moment. But again, as it has been for the last couple of laps, Luke Richards out front in 25, kart from Jacob Felton, William Ray. Reese Hurd has dropped down to 4th now. A bit of movement from William Ray, moving up into 3rd position. There isn't a lot between those front 5, and one little mistake can cost you. That was the 61 kart there on screen, just coming through. With Jacob Felton. 2nd place for him at the moment, behind Luke Richards. William Ray up into 3rd. There's not a huge gap there, to be honest. That's just over a second from Jacob through to Luke out front, but then very little from William. A second or so from Reese in 4th position. So, what we got? A couple of minutes left on the race. 61 there of Jacob Felton on screen. He's chasing down Luke Richards out front with William Ray right on the back wheel now there. The 14 kart of William Ray, you can see him. He's starting to just have a look, weighing up where there is a move. Is it in Haynes Loop? Is it up into midgets? What's the best place to make a move? The weather makes a difference. There was a little bit of a look there from William. Didn't put it through. So the front 3 crumb across the start-finish line. Minute or so to go. It is still the 25 of Luke Richards out front. A very close battle now between Jacob Felton and William Ray, 2nd and 3rd. And Reese Hurd in 4th. Rufus Flan in 5th. Bobby Rosier 6th. Michael Pugh in 7th. Zach Burke has got the 8th. Freddie Warlock has got the 9th. And Maxine Smith has got the top 10. That is our top 10 as we move into 40 seconds left, plus that last lap. As they come through the bus stop towards midgets at the top. You can carry plenty of speed as you go up before you come into that right-hander. And you come down into the right-hander of Climate. That's where you've just got to control your speed. Quite wide through Climate, to be honest, to get back across track to get maximum speed down into the home finish straight. And it is still Luke Richards from Jacob Felton. William Ray still on the exhaust pipe, still chasing him down hard with Reese Hurd in 4th, was the early leader. Rufus Flan in 5th. That is our front 5 as we see them come around Johnny's. We've got a spinner there, and that is the 23. So that is a bit of a back marker with the spin. That was Kathleen Moore, that had just taken a 360. Thankfully back up and running, wasn't on the grass, which is always a saviour. Can we race over if you make your way onto the grass? So we are going to move into a last lap scenario here now, with Luke Richards out front from Jacob Felton. That hasn't changed now for a few laps, but 2nd and 3rd is a battle. Barring anything, Luke seems to have he's got his own race going on, so he's got to focus. The 2 behind, 61 and 14 of Jacob and William. They're chasing him down. There is a bit of a gap now through to the 59 of Reese Hurd and the 49 of Bobby Rosier, sorry. Front 3 there on screen. They're the ones we'll concentrate. And there is a bit of movement. Was that a mistake from Jacob Felton in the 61? Just moved off the racing line. William took advantage. Saw the gap, was in the right place at the right time to take advantage. That was close enough to land the blow. And he's done that. He's moved himself up into 2nd. Just a reminder, if you joined us late, every class gets 3 heats. So you've got 3 heats to accumulate points. That goes towards your starting position in the final. So the checkered flag is out on this heat number 1 for the Rotax seniors. And it is going to be, as it has been for the last and remainder majority of the race, Luke Richards with the win from William Ray, who got up there on that last lap from Jacob Felton, who finished in 3rd. Bit of a gap there to Bobby Rosier, who got himself up into 4th, from Reese Hurd, Rufus Flan, Michael Pugh, Zach Burke, Freddie Warlock. Zach Burke actually finished in 7th, got across the line, well done. Michael Pugh 8th, Maxton Smith in 9th, and James Watson in 10. They make up the top 10. Good race, and again, not a massive amount of movement between drivers there. Archie Elliott up 6 places. Daniel Hammett was up 3. Oh, that's a previous race. I'm looking at that. Ignore that. Ignore that. Where are we? Here we go. There we go. Luke Richards with the win from William Ray, Jacob Felton, Bobby Rosier, Reese Hurd, Rufus Flan, Zach Burke, Michael Pugh. They made up that top 8. And there we can see everybody else that managed to get themselves around. I think we saw Kathleen Moore was in the mix there, but did get a bit of a spin on. So another good race, and everybody round. No rescue truck needed on this occasion, which is terrific. And you can see that's the bus stop shot there that we've got as they come through that chicane. Plenty of airtime, plenty of curb, both on entry and exit, to be honest. Good move there from the 25 of Luke Richards. That got him up into the lead. And you can see, look at the inside front two wheels come up where they're cornering so hard. That was the 59 of Reese Hurd there. There's no hanging around as we move straight on to Senior Rotax, heat number 2 for these guys. So again, they'll just take in a couple of laps just to get themselves ready. We'll see bang on 30 karts out in this one. Again, they're putting a lap and a couple of half laps just to get themselves ready. So Luke Richards, he won the opening heat from William Ray, Jacob Felton, Bobby Rosier, Reese Hurd, Zach Berg, Reefus Flan, Freddie Worlock. They were the winners in heat number 1. As we make our way out for heat number 2, we're going to see George Isgrove on the front of the grid from Rufus Flan, Cian Downer, William Ray, Oliver Gussman. I think it's Neve Note, so we're off and running. 39 car of George Isgrove. He's the leader as he go through Haynes Loop for the first time. Everyone through safely, which is brilliant. So what we love to see is they come around. Johnny's left-hander down into the Whingers dip. The movement there from the 61 car just got moved over a tiny bit. That was Jacob Felton. As they race up, they will take in the bus stop. Little right and left through that chicane, bit of curb. Still that 39 George Isgrove leading the way. The movement in second, third and fourth, I think. The rest of the field just settled down, really compact as you drop down from maybe 7th or 8th position. There's loads of karts in the mix. Someone's gone off in the midgets at the top there. I can't see, it's far too far away to see who it was, but they come around Tollies for the first time to restart the second lap, and it's going to be 39 of George Isgrove from Cian Downer, William Ray, is it Neve, I think, Note, Luke Richards, Roman Vickery, Luca Cook, Reese Hurd, Michael Pugh and Freddie Worlock. They make out the top 10 for the first time as those guys are already racing down into Whingers dip. And it's still the 39, plenty of curb, bit of movement for the 54. 94 kart there, sorry, 94 of the Note. Through that curve, the front 5, bit of a gap there now from the front 5. They've pulled away, lead by George Isgrove. A move up the inside there, I think Cian Downer was that. Note making a move. Yeah, the 14 kart of William Ray, he takes off the lead from George Isgrove. So William Ray comes round Tollies, he will lead as we go into that third lap. Still a battle, 39 kart of George Isgrove just getting moved over there by Note. But it is William Ray out front now in the 14, and again just create a bit of a gap from that chasing pack of 3 or 4 cars. Note, George Isgrove, Cian Downer, Luke Richards. And making up that top 5 as there's a hard right-hander in Whingers dip before you come up the hill. Got to get the brakes on a little bit through the chicane, through the bus stop. Bouncing the way through. But William Ray has now got a bit of a gap, maybe a second and a half or so I would say he's created now from that chasing pack. As everybody else comes through the bus stop. This is the lead, as we can see. There's the leader going through on screen now. This is the second, third, second through to 5th battle here as they come into Tollies. Plenty of movement. William Ray has the lead. Note in second, George Isgrove third, Cian Downer and Luke Richards. They're making up that top 5, which have just started to pull away a little bit from that chasing back. Maybe 2.5 seconds or so there. Look to Reese Hurd, Luca Cook, Michael Pugh, Zach Burke, Freddie Worlock and Roman Vickery. And then it's really not a lot between everybody else. Half a second to a second of a gap as they all come racing through. But it is William Ray now who has, again, just increased that lead through the bus stop. You can see there as George Isgrove looks like he's got himself back up into second place potentially. As they come through midgets at the top. Yeah, second, third and fourth are battling away with each other. But it is William Ray. I think George Isgrove is that. He's got himself back into second place. Indeed it is. William Ray takes the next lap in the lead from George Isgrove. Luke Richards has moved up into third with Kian Downer. Reese Hurd in fourth, Luca Cook, Michael Pugh, Zach Burke, Freddie Warlock. So we've lost Note. I think it's Neve. If you know NIAM, if you know how to pronounce that, please tell me. Neve Note, who was up the front runner, has now dropped down the order. William Ray does have that lead from George Isgrove. George battling back to get that second place back from Luke Richards and Kian Downer. So a nice gap for William Ray now. He's out front, he's got fresh air. A few seconds I would imagine as he comes across the start finish line, 3.5, maybe even 4 seconds now from the second, third and fourth car. It's a nice battle there for the top 3. Top 4 with those, and then a little bit of a gap. So there's William Ray, he's gone across, he's done that start finish line. George Isgrove, Luke Richards and Kian Downer. Yeah, it's about 4-second gap now. The rest of the pack come round. Tolly's here, we can see everybody coming through on screen. That's the battle for second, third and fourth there, and that's what we're really interested in, because William Ray's stolen a march, gone out front. This second, third and fourth is the battle. That's worth keeping an eye on for the minute. With George Isgrove getting back up into second place there, just having a look over the shoulder to the 25 and the 26 of Luke Richards and Kian Downer. Plenty of curve for George there. William Ray just coming round to head into Tolly's, and the 86 car of James Bailey Sartin, novice driver today. He's going to get caught by William Ray. His lap time's just increasing a little bit. And you can see the battle for second, third and fourth. That's what we're keeping our eyes on at the minute. Although the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th is also hotting up as they go through Haynes Loop. Close battle, 4 or 5 karts in that mix. I think Freddie Warlock's in there with Michael Pugh, Zach Burke. There's a real battle going on there for them kind of top 10 positions. A couple of minutes to go plus the extra lap, and it looks like William Ray, again, I've said it a few times, barring anything mechanical or concentration wise, has got this one in the bag. He's in his own race now. It is that battle for second, third and fourth which is worth keeping an eye on. It's quite interesting as George Isgrove has lost out that second spot at the moment in that battle to Luke Richards, who's moved up into second. But there's nothing to give between those 3, with the 26 of Kian Downer as well, who's just having a little look there up the inside of George Isgrove as well. But that's the battle, the second, third and fourth. That's the race that we've got on. That's what we'll concentrate on. William Ray is out front, and he's pulling away out front, that's for sure. Maybe a 6-second or so gap now from this chasing pack. It does look like Luke Richards is just starting to pull away from George Isgrove and Kian Downer a little bit. 23 car just comes past me. That's Kathleen Moore in a novice plate today. There's William Ray. He's going to get a couple more laps out of this one. From the 25 of Luke Richards and the 39 of George Isgrove. That's the top 3 with Kian Downer right on George Isgrove's exhaust pipe. He's looking for that 3rd spot. He's going to want to try and take that 3rd spot from George Isgrove. There's going to be 2 laps to go in this one. Countdown of the 7 minutes has just ended. So when William Ray comes across the start finish line again, that will indicate to us that we've got 2 laps to go. The top of your screen tells you now. And it's about a 6-second lead he's got over that chasing pack there. And Luke Richards, is fair to say, it's just broken away a little bit from George Isgrove and Kian Downer, who are having a bit of a battle themselves for what is that 3rd place now. With 2 laps to go into the last lap now. William Ray's just taken that last lap board. From the 25 of Luke Richards, George Isgrove, Kian Downer, Reese Hurd, they make up that top 5. And then it's Luca Cook, Zach Burke, Bobby Rosier, and things have just calmed down a little bit in the chasing pack now as well. Although we have got a real battle going on here with the 52 and the 13. That's Rufus Flan and Brad Philpott having a bit of a battle there at the lower end of the order at the minute. But there's no denying that 6.5 seconds, maybe 7 now when he comes across for the last time. William Ray is going to take heat number 2 of the Senior Rotax. There he is on screen, coming round the corner for That should have been the checkered flag, I think, there. Yeah, that should have been the checkered flag, not the last lap board that William Ray just saw. Hopefully he doesn't put in another lap, because that was the checkered flag. William Ray takes the race from Luke Richards, George Isgrove, Cian Downer, Reese Hurd, Zach Burke moves up into 6, from Luca Cook, Bobby Rosier, Freddie Warlock, Michael Pugh rounds out the top 10. Across the finish line now, we will see Jacob Felton. Down in 21st, 22nd, there we go. James Watson was the 11th, Roman Vickery 12, Rufus Flan, that was our top 13 or 14 drivers. So William Ray moved his way up and then really just bossed it once he got out front. And there's a real battle between Luke Richards, George Isgrove and Cian Downer for that second through to 4th place position. Some really good stuff. And yeah, William Ray got an extra lap out of that one. He's not down there at the bottom end, he is at the top. So some good points for him to add to his first race result. So it was a second place in the first heat for William Ray, and he's just done well to take that second race as well. Luke Richards was at the front of the chasing pack there in the first race before, as he was in that one. So some consistency from those front end drivers. And what we'll do is we'll do the heat 1 and heat 2 for everybody, and then we take a bit of a 40-minute break. At which point I'll just have a look through the heats to see who's doing well, who's got some big points to take into that final. And what you can see, that was Tolly's on screen there. And if you get a nice run up the inside of Tolly's, if you drive too wide, you're going to get taken up the inside. That's for sure. If you can keep it nice and narrow, you do get the opportunity. There you go, good example. You can keep it nice and just move up the inside, coming over that start-finish line again. Parts of it outside where there's not been much kart activity is still a bit damp on the surface, but in the main we are dry. So Senior Rotax heat number 3, this is their last heat before we move into the finals. And what preceded us, Senior Rotax, William Ray won the last race from Luke Richards, George Isgrove, Cian Downer, Reese Hurd, Zach Burke. And then their first outing, it seems quite a long time ago now, that was won by Luke Richards from William Ray, Jacob Felton, Bobby Rosier, Reese Hurd, Zach Burke, Rufus Flan, Freddie Warlock. So we've had a few different names at the front of the field. And again, if you're essentially preaching to the convert, because a lot of you will be listening and watching because you've got friends and people you know involved. They've all done 3 races, 3 heats. They've all started somewhere at the front, at the middle, at the back of the heat, and so you get a fair grid, as it were. And they're all trying to score as many points as they can across those 3 heats to get the best possible starting position for the final. So as the guys come round, Freddie Warlock, Lucas Reeves, Luca Cook, that's going to be the front of the grid for this one. Bobby Rosier, Emma Stoner, Joshua Hall, Zach Burke, Alexander Colin Tuano, Oliver Gussman, Roman Vickery, Michael Pugh, Harry Clark, Noah McNicholson, James Watson, George Isgrove, Neve Note, Cian Downer, Maxim Smith. We're off and racing. No, we're not. We're going to go around again. That gives me a chance to finish the lineup. I always like it when that flag comes out. So they'll come around and do another half a lap. Cian Downer, Maxim Smith, Luke Richards, William Ray, who's very successful. He's starting in 21st. Be interesting to see how that develops. Brad Philpott, Jacob Felton, Rufus Flan, Reese Hurd, and then our novices, who all start from the back in all of the heats, but will score points like everybody else, depending on their finishing position. Reese Green, Ollie White, Kathleen Moore, James Bailey Sartin and Henry Moore. So that is our lineup. That's how they'll grid for this race. Freddie Warlock, Lucas Reeves on the front of the grid. It is a rolling start. Only a couple of our classes do have a standing start, and we're off. The 16 and the 31 of Lucas and Freddie have made good getaways there into that first turn, which is the Haynes Loop. Nice tight right-hander, then down into a left and all the way down the bottom into the Wingers Dip. Bit of contact going through, but everybody through. So you just cast the drift a little bit at the back, then possibly a bit of contact, maybe a little bit wide, but that's your front 2 there. 16 of Lucas Reeves, Freddie Warlock in second with the 31 car. Through the bus stop they go, up into Midgets at the top. There's a hill climb all the way to the top, there's a right-hander back down into another right-hander, which is Climate. And then you drift from one side of the track to the other, then back in again as you take a tight left-hander to come across the start line, over start-finish line into the second lap with Freddie Warlock back in front from Lucas Reeves, Bobby Rosier, Luca Cook, Zach Burke, Oliver Gusman, Emma Stoner, Alexander Contuano, Harry Clark and Michael Pugh. They make up the top 10. Again, everybody around the Haynes Loop, no disasters. Front 4 just pulling away. Freddie Warlock out front from Lucas Reeves, with the 49 of Bobby Rosier just making a move up into second place. Took the opportunity to do it nice and early, nice and clean, and up into second. So Freddie Warlock, Bobby Rosier, Lucas Reeves, that's the front 3. Not far behind, we've got Luca Cook and Zach Burke. So they're within touching distance of those front runners at the moment. And then the gap is just starting to open up to a battling pack behind. So as they move into the next lap, Freddie Warlock, Bobby Rosier, Lucas Reeves, Luca Cook, Zach Burke, Oliver Grigner, Alexander Contuano moves up a spot, Harry Clark, Michael Pugh and Maxim Smith into the top 10. Again, a couple of just wide lines coming around the Haynes Loop. I can see out the right window of my comms box, and a bit of grass track in there, a bit of bouncing coming off the 46, which is Harry Clark. That will cost him 2 or 3 places at least. You'll lose that speed coming up the hill into the bus stop. But that pack there is quite condensed. Once you get past the front, 10 drivers maybe, we've got a real pack of drivers. But as we concentrate on the guys as they come over the start-finish line again, it's still Freddie Warlock and Bobby Rosier, Lucas Reeves, Luca Cook, Zach Burke, 38 of Oliver Gusman, Michael Pugh, Maxim Smith, William Ray, Reese Green, they're all moving up. Dropping way back there, and you can just see the right side of the track there. We had an incident earlier where we had to put to clean up a bit of a spillage on the track following an incident. Thankfully everybody was alright. So there's a bit of different shade to the track line there. So guys go down into the Windsors Dip. They come up out of that through the bus stop. So the field pretty much spread out now, and we've got a bit of a gap at the front now. As they come over the start-finish line here, I can see them. You're just looking at the back of the pack, but it is still those front 2: Freddie Warlock and Bobby Rosier. Zach Burke has moved up into 3rd, Lucas Reeves 4th, Luca Cook 5th, Oliver Gusman 6th, Michael Pugh, William Ray in the top 10. He's in 8th, Maxim Smith and Reese Green with the 71 novice plate up into 10th place. That's a great effort from him. He's working his way through the field as well. William Ray 12 places gained, Reese Green 17 places gained, hats off to you. Reese Hurd as well, 14 gained in that pursuit at the front, Maxim Smith 9. So there's some big movers in there. And that's hand up. What have we got at the front? So we've still got 49 of Bobby Rosier now leading the 31 of Freddie Warlock. There was just a move there. I did see the hand go up, whether it was slightly untidy or what, I don't know. But Zach Burke 3rd, Lucas Reeves 4th, Luca Cook 5th. That's the top 5. And like I say, it's now starting to string out. We've got about 3 minutes plus the lap to go. So it's just starting to get strung out just a tiny bit. But those front runners, that's who we're looking at now. As they come down through, or up should I say, up through the bus stop. And the front 2 have now just got a bit of a second or so gap to the 3rd place driver at Zach Burke, who's moved up into that 3rd place. And then there is another little gap to the following Luca Cook and Oliver Gusman. But as we come over the start-finish line, I think it's on this one to go. 49 of Bobby Rosier still leading from Freddie Warlock, and then there's just over a second gap to Zach Burke, and then a 2-second gap to Luca and Lucas, who are right on top of each other really, and then Oliver a couple of seconds behind. So that front little pack has moved away a little bit. Further down the order, George Grove has dropped out. I think he's a few laps down at the back there. So I think we've lost George from proceedings. Noah McNicholson is 11th, Reese Hurd 12th, Harry Clark 13th, Alexander Contuano 14th, Rufus Flan is 15th at the minute. Luke Richards, who was up there in previous heats, he's down in 16th, I think, at the moment. So a minute and a half and a lap to go. There's still those same front 2. Bobby Rosier from Freddie Warlock with Zach Burke in 3rd. And then a bit of a gap to a chasing pair of Luca and Lucas, who have swapped places. So Lucas moved up into 4th from Lucas. Oliver's still in 6th from William Ray, who's now really racing up through the pack. He's making some great gains, 13 places gained. The big winner is Reese Green in 10th. He's gained 17 places with that novice board. He's done exceptionally well to move up through the order. Ollie White with the novice board, he's up into 22nd as well, so he's gained 6 places, as has Henry Moore with 77. So it's good to see the novice drivers gaining more experience, getting used to the track, getting more confident in the laps and their lap times. I'm not going to mention the horrible big black cloud I can see over on the horizon. We'll ignore that for the minute as we concentrate on the leaders as they come over the line here with 45 plus the lap to go. Bobby Rosier, Freddie Warlock, Zach Burke, Luca Cook, Luca Reeves. That's been our front 5 for some time now. There's been a few changes of position, but essentially they've been there. William Ray moving up all the time. He's now up into 6th and 7th position on that last lap. So it's getting interesting with these front two. Will they want to, you obviously want to go across the start line first, of course you do. And if you're hunting points down to get a higher finish in the final, then you're going to look to do it. Sometimes you might just want to consolidate and think, I'm good here. We have seen in the previous heat where somebody caught the back end with a lap to go of somebody and lost valuable places in the hunt for points. So the clock ticks down. We are now out of time, so we will see the last lap board when Bobby Rosier and Freddie Worlock come round again. Everybody buzzing through, down to that top 10 with Reese Green in 10th place, Michael Pugh, Matthew Smith, Oliver Gusman, William Ray, Lucas Reeve, Luca Cook, Zach Burke. They make up the top 10 with that front two, with Bobby Rosier and Freddie Worlock. And I tell you what, just seeing whether Zach Burke is just starting to reel them in a little bit. It is the last lap board, so we have 1 lap remaining. And Bobby Rosier will lead into that last lap from Freddie Worlock and Zach Burke. And then now there's, a few second gap through to 5 seconds nearly now to Luca Cook. And then Lucas Reeves is a second behind, another second to William Ray, another second to Oliver. So just starting to string out a tiny bit on this final lap. But let's keep an eye on those front runners. Looks like Bobby Rosier has got it in the bag. Goes through the bus stop, up the top into midgets. He'll keep it nice and clean through there. Yeah, this front three look to be pretty set. I think we've got our final 3 for the final heat of the Senior Rotax, which will be headed by the 49 kart of Bobby Rosier from Freddie Worlock and Zach Burke. Those 3 with a bit of a gap through to the 12 of Luca Cook, who just pulled away from Lucas Reeves at the end there, from William Ray, Oliver Gusman, Maxim Smith, Michael Pugh and Reese Green. And the rest of the drivers come over that start-finish line. We'll flick back there. Noah McNicholson in 11, Reese Hurd, Harry Clark, Rufus Flan, Alexander Contuano 15, Luke Richards 16, James Watson 17. That was our finishing order, and I don't like the look of that cloud. But that is our last Senior Rotax heat, so they've all done what they can do to get points on the board to give themselves the best possible starting position for that final, which we will see as the afternoon ticks on. So we've seen some nice passing moves in the last couple of heats. Now the track is drier, it does give everybody the opportunity to be a bit more confident, get off the racing line a little bit, look to see where there's a gap, try and put pressure on the driver in front to push them into that mistake, to then take advantage of that hole or that gap that might be left. But yeah, we had a nice race out front. It was Bobby Rosier that worked his way through the pack eventually. A couple of drivers going wide on that shot there, allowing the 3 to come through. But that's the nature of it. Sometimes would you stick or do you twist? You just sit in and you just understand that that's where you're going to finish in that heat, or do you push and try and get yourself further up the order? Well, so we are just waiting for that rescue truck to pick up those unfortunate few, and it looks like it's going to take a detour around the circuit and around the fields to get back, so we can allow the guys in the Senior Rotax to come out. And don't ask me to read out the lineups again. Whew, shattered. So we're looking forward to this one. Senior Rotax, William Ray there to be shot down. Bobby Rosier in second, had a really good day today, as has Zach Burke, Freddie Worlock, Luke Richards, very consistent in their racing. Again, this is a 10-minute final. It's a shootout for the top 3. That's what they're all gunning for. What we will try to do is keep an eye on whatever race is developing within the race. But a bit like that last race, we did veer back and have a look at a few of the battles that were going on, but ultimately what we wanted to be watching was those guys out front. So if it comes to the end of the race and there's a battle for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, we might just flick to the front 2 or 3 just to see them get their moment off that checkered flag. So warm-up lap done. They'll be coming around. They won't go up into midgets as they haven't done all day. They'll cut across the bus stop to take in the start-finish line for this 10-minute race. William Ray and Bobby Rosier on the front of the grid, they dictate this start. It's up to them to put the foot down, and they've done that, and Williams made a good start. Bobby Rosier as well, that's the 2 out front. Let's keep an eye as everybody gets through. Yeah, everyone through Haynes Loop, that's great. That's what we want to see, and I think Bobby Rosier is out front from William Ray. That was the front two on the grid, that's the front two in the race. Freddie Worlock, Zach Burke, Reese Hurd, they were all in hot pursuit as they come up through the bus stop for the first time. Safely navigated for everybody. Bit of a train of cars, a little bit of curb there at the right at the rear of the field, but not affecting the front runners. And the front three of Bobby and William as they come over for the first time. Yeah, it is Bobby Rosier from William Ray, from Freddie Worlock. Reese Hurd's moved up, as has Zach Burke. Luca Cook's moved up a little bit. Luke Richards, Michael Pugh, then comes Luca Cook. Rufus Flan and James Watson, they make up the top 10 as the guys drive down into Whingers for the second time in this final 10-minute final. 1 minute gone so far. Bobby Rosier out front from William Ray. Freddie Worlock in third and Reese Hurd in fourth at the moment as they go through the bus stop, back up into midgets, down into Climate, that right-hander. Race down here they go into the left-hander, which is Tollies, to pick up that start-finish line again. And it is still that front three of Bobby Rosier, William Ray, Freddie Worlock, Reese Hurd, Zach Burke. Michael Pugh moves up a little bit. Luke Richards, Luca Cook, James Watson, Rufus Flan, that's your top 10 as the guys circumnavigate Haynes Loop with no problem. Everybody does all through safely. From Rufus Flan, you've got Jacob Felton, Maxim Smith, George Isgrove, Brad Philpott, Lucas Reeves, Harry Clark. That's down into your 15-16 position, all battling for points for the end of the season championship. But it's the guys out front, and a little bit of a look up the inside, I think, there at the front of the grid. I think Bobby Rosier is still out front. I think William Ray might have just got pipped off through midgets there. I think by Freddie Worlock in the 31, indeed he did. Freddie Worlock up into second ahead of William Ray, Reese Hurd, Zach Burke, Michael Pugh, Luke Richards. Bit of movement with Jack Felton there, making his way into the top 10. So, pretty condensed, pretty congested at the back end of the grid. Nice train of karts coming through, but our front four is our focus for the moment. A little bit of movement between those front three, and they have caught up with a back marker. I say a back marker, I think there was a bit of an incident that came off. That's why they are where they are. But here we go, what have we got as we come round last corner to that home straight again. Yeah, it's the 26 kart. At the back of the field of Kean Downer, Bobby Rosier, Freddie Worlock, William Ray. That's still your top three with Reese Hurd in fourth, that Burke in fifth. And no change there at the moment. Those front four, William Ray I think might even have got past that back marker as well, going through there. So they've all, Kean Downer I think that was, they've all got round Kean, wise enough to let them through. Was he still in amongst that race? I'm not too sure, looking as they go up through the bus stop to midgets. There are still four drivers at the front. There is still blue flag in the marshal's hand, but I think they're all through now. All of the front three are through. So Bobby Rosier, Freddie Worlock and William Ray, they've got past that back marker of the 26 kart yet. The 26 kart isn't in fourth. Our fourth place man is now Zach Burke, ahead of Reese Hurd with Michael Pugh. We get a bit of movement. Luke Richards, Rufus Flan and Luke Cook, they're making up the top 10. James Watson in there as well. But your lead man is Bobby Rosier. He's out front. Just a little bit of air between him and the guy behind now. That guy is still Freddie Worlock from William Ray. So just coming back down through Tollies into that start finish line again. Same front three, same order. Bobby, Freddie, William, that's your front three with Zach 2 and 3 seconds behind now. So there is just a little bit of a gap. That fourth place kart you can maybe see coming through on screen is the 26 kart of Luke Richard of Kean Downer, who went off earlier on. So he's just keeping his pace behind the front three, which he's more than entitled to do, until the fourth place car of Zach Burke catches him up. He's okay to keep on the pace and just try and follow those front three. He's definitely on the pace with them, that's for sure. Lap times would tell me that. So yeah, he's putting in lap times of 4:63, so he's not that far off of the front three, to be honest, with his lap times. But that front three is the front three. William Ray's back up into second. He's got ahead of Freddie Worlock. William Ray's back into second. So Bobby Rosier still got that lead from William Ray. Let's focus on those three. The 31 kart now in third place of Freddie Worlock. Zach Burke is in fourth place, 3 seconds behind. So the front three have just pulled out a bit of a gap. So that is their race now. see some black flags at some point come out. Over my shoulder I can see the guys. It's been missed on a few occasions, but it's not the front three. Bobby Rosier, William Ray and Freddie Worlock. It's not for them. It's for the 44 kart, I think, receiving that black flag. That is Ollie White, novice in the field today. He's picked up a black flag, needs to go into the pits, has to adhere to that warning. Is he going to see it now? 44, let's see if he comes round. He's put a hand up, yeah, he's acknowledged that he's picked it up, so he will move into the pits and understand what that was for. Yeah, he's gone in, so our front three, let's concentrate, is still the front three. It's Bobby Rosier, William Ray, Freddie Worlock. That's your front three. There is a gap now between them three and the rest of the field, so with just under 4 minutes to go plus that lap, it's them three shooting out for the win. Let's have a look. Zach Burke, 3.3 seconds behind, so yeah, there is that gap, and that's going to be a yellow. You can see who that, didn't catch who that was on screen then, but we have got somebody sat on the barrier. They've come off. And as the race develops, I'll see who's dropped to the back, and we'll be able to pick up on who that is. Unfortunately, their race has ended. But here we go, let's talk you through. We've got three and a bit minutes to go plus the lap. So as they come round Tollies into the start-finish line with those 3 minutes and a lap to go, it is Bobby Rosier from William Ray, Freddie Worlock, third place, still that 26 car in the mix. Before Zach Burke, Reese Hurd, Jacob Felton, Luca Cook, George Isgrove, Harry Clark, Rufus Flan, they make up your top 10. Alexander Colantana, he moves up into 11th from Noah McNicholas in 12th, Roman Vickery in 13th. So that's our top 13 as this race is developing, but the front three, they've definitely pulled away, and it's definitely theirs to win or lose now. Bobby Rosier has had this lead from the outset. William Ray and Freddie Worlock, they have exchanged positions on a couple of occasions, but it's pretty settled now, and I have to say that William Ray is on the back wheel, the back wheels of Bobby Rosier, a bit more than what Freddie Worlock is on the back of his wheels, so there is just that gap developing. So will those front two will William Ray's got the experience, he is our current Forest Edge champion as we know, will he just sit in, he can bide his time, he knows he's got 2.5 minutes plus the lap to go. And again, I'll just echo, I love the fact that the rain has held off for these guys so we can see a race on track and not a procession or anybody driving within themselves. It's given us the opportunity to see Bobby Rosier and William Ray really going at it, toe to toe at the front. That's the race you can see on screen, there is nothing between them, but they have now created a bit of a gap. Back to third place, Freddie Worlock, who's just dropped off a tiny bit. There's nothing between the front two. 3/10, that's all there is. They're right on each other's back wheel. Small gap to Freddie Worlock, and then we go back to the fourth place of Zach Burke, Jacob Felton, fifth, Reese Hurd, Luca Cook, George Isgrove, Rufus Flan, Harry Clark. That's your top 10. Noah Nicholas moves up into 11th, he's gained a place. And we've got 3 karts off at the back of the field on the entry into Haynes Loop. And we've got one stalled on track, which could, of course, definitely going to cause a yellow. That's for sure. It's going to take a while before the leaders get back round to them, and I think they're just going to safely pull off the track with just a couple of minutes to go. Yeah, they've well done to those guys for clearing the circuit. I'm going to give them a shout out in a minute. But out front, we've still got the same two. Third place is still Freddie Worlock. Yeah, I think is that the 94 of Note, I think. I need to know how to pronounce the name of the 94 driver, but yeah, he has come off, or she has come off there. But they have got themselves off track. So out front, Bobby Rosier, William Ray, Freddie Worlock, that's our front three. They're the ones that are gunning for this podium. They've got they're going to have a couple of laps to go here, because we're definitely going to get over before that 43 seconds ticks by. So 2 laps to go in this race, and it is very close out the front with Bobby Rosier from William Ray and Freddie Worlock in third. That's your front three. Bit of a gap then back to fourth place Zach Burke, but he's only just over 3.5 seconds behind, so they're definitely not leaving Zach Burke for dead, that's for sure. In fourth place, he's hanging on to that 3-second gap, but he's not close enough anyway to make a challenge. But fourth place is a good finish nonetheless. But let's concentrate on those front two as they come round midgets down into climate. It's Bobby Rosier with the red jacket on, he's out front, closely followed by William Ray, last year's champ. He's on the back wheel. Is he just biding his time? Is he waiting for that moment? Is he just putting Bobby Rosier under enough pressure to move him out off that racing line, move him out of the way, make him sweat a little bit. Is this the last lap? We've got one more after this. Let's have a look at that front two. William Ray right on the back wheel as they come through the bus stop up into midgets. It is Bobby Rosier from William Way. Freddie Rurlock has got third place in the bag. That's his. He's going to enjoy that moment. But as we come round, climb it down into Tollies. Is this the checkered flag? Yes, it is the checkered flag for Bobby Rosier over William Ray. Very late on the flag there. I didn't know whether we were going to see another lap or not. And Freddie Rurlock has picked up that third place from Zach Burke, who got within 3 seconds there with Freddie at the end of the race. Jacob Felton takes 5th, Luca Cook 6th, Harry Clark 7th, Reese Hurd 8th, George Cosgrove 9th, and Noah McNicholas in 10th position. Rest of the drivers just safely coming round. Rufus Flan 11, Alexander Colantuano in 12, Michael Pugh 13, a couple of novice plates, 77 of Henry Moore in 14th and 71 of Reese Green in 15th, Emma Stoner, Lucas Reeves, James Watson, Joshua Hall and Kian Downer. They make up your top 20 with Kathleen Moore, another novice plate from Roman Vickery, Ian Note, Brad Philpott, Ollie White, Luke Richards, Oliver Gusman and Maxim Smith. So excellent final, really close at the front there. Just William Ray not able to make that move. So a couple of the guys there that came off, the 13 and 94. That's the 94 of Niam Note. I want to know how to say that Niam Note. Maybe it is just Niam. And 13 of Brad Philpott, who potentially was going to come and join us on the mic. At some point his race has ended with a bit of a shame for him. But let's just look back at some of the moments there. You see the guys going through Haynes Loop for the first time. A little bit of contact left and right, but that's to be expected with everyone jostling for position in the early part of the race. But there was plenty to talk about, plenty to enjoy. And in the end it was a great win for Bobby Rosier over William Ray. Yeah, just a nice move up the inside from the 64 car of James Watson on the replay there. It's Haynes Loop, you can see the guys going around there. That is Bobby Rosier out front there.